Arts, lifestyle. SNS Online.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new series of SNS Online, our 8th in fact, and we're kicking off in style with a good friend of the show who happens to have a brand new single out. Guess who's sorry now? She's also got some choice words about the COVID epidemic that you might happen to agree with or not. As always, for information about current official guidelines, go to www.gov.uk. So, welcome back to SNS, the shy, retiring Carol Tapow Decker. How are you today?
I'm shy and retiring. I'm a bit nervous to talk to you.
Oh, yeah, right. Absolutely. It's lovely to have you back on. Yeah, you're a bit of a regular these days. We love your new single, Guess Who's Sorry Now. You just knocked these singles out of the park. It's soaring, lovely, gorgeous harmonies. It's so Tapowish, but it sounds very now as well, which is fantastic.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I guess if you've got me and Ron as the core of it, it's always going to sound like Tapow, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that I think that provides that ingredient, and it does sound contemporary. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
But also, I think, when you listen to Heart and Soul and stuff, and I think that still sounds really modern to me.
Oh yeah.
When you hear it, So I still think our old stuff sounds great.
No, it's fantastic. So you did this during another lockdown session, or?
Well, actually, Ronnie and I got together just before Christmas 2019 and had a writing sesh.
Okay.
With a couple of the guys from our band as well, and we had 3 songs. So we had "Be Wonderful" last year, which we did the lockdown video.
Classic.
With my kids, thank you.
Be good, be happy, be sad, be sorry, be brave, be foolish, be wonderful.
Which is great fun. And then we had this one, Guess Who's Sorry Now, and another one called Stupid Love Song that will come out next. And we had them all recorded, and I managed to get the vocals all done sort of January, February last year, 2020, so before, all this crapola had happened. Excuse me.
Oh, put your mask on. Put your mask on.
Oh, God, I think I just killed my neighbour. And so obviously Ron's got the studio, and he's the clever guy at the two of us. And so he was able to crack on with the mixes, and he would just send, mixes to me to critique, and I'd send my comments back, and we did it like that. But fortunately, we actually got everything recorded before all this happened, so we're able to put things out.
So this is quite a while ago you did this. I didn't realise.
Yeah, it was 2019, beginning of 2020. It was just having the opportunity to put it out. Really.
Yeah, it obviously takes a while to sort of perfect it all.
Well, to get the mix right and stuff.
No, absolutely, get it absolutely right. Just to confirm to everybody who's listening, Guess Who's Sorry Now, it's not the same as Who's Sorry Now, which is completely different. Who's sorry now? Whose heart is breaking? You should do that as a cover,
No, it's
Carol.
not that song.
Do that as a cover.
No. Yes, Guess Who's Sorry Now, or GWSN is our trendy, acronym. Yeah,
I absolutely love it, and we'll give it a play later on. So tell us about we got you on the blower, how's it been going with COVID? I mean, you haven't been sort of shy and coming forward about your opinions about, which I quite respect, because it's been tough on everybody.
Oh, I've been just drunk and furious for a year, basically, shouting at the radio and shouting on Twitter. I shouldn't shout on Twitter when I'm drunk, so I get myself into trouble.
Well,
but this is where I come from, and obviously it's a terrifying pandemic. I'm not for 1 minute saying that it's not.
Sure.
But I personally subscribe to the fact that tragically it's the elderly and some unfortunate individuals who are younger than that, but mainly it's a very targeted percentage of the population. So I don't stand with lockdowns and everything that they've done to people's livelihoods, relationships, mental health.
So how would you have done it? I'm genuinely
if
interested.
I was Prime Minister.
If you were Prime Minister.
Okay, well, let's just accept that very, very sadly, some people will get quite sick and some people will die. Let's just accept that is a given with anything, an outbreak. In the past when we've had SARS and swine flu, these diseases do target people who are already vulnerable. They just do.
Yeah.
So it's a given that sadly some people would die and they probably would be quite elderly and quite frail. I'd have done targeted protection for them.
Yeah.
Because if the lockdowns are meant to protect the NHS and the elderly, how come it's the elderly that died? It's all the elderly that died pretty much. So it didn't achieve that, did it?
Well,
logically.
The care home thing was a nightmare. I mean, we had, I think it was Nadra Ahmed, chair of the National Care Association, on our sister poddy, Corona Chronicles, talking about the incredible difficulties they face throughout the country and the fact that they work so hard to try to protect their residents, but they just weren't given nearly enough.
All the elderly that were discharged from hospital with COVID into the care homes.
Yeah, yes.
And that also happened in Sweden.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. So their deaths are the same. So I'm not saying, I've got all the answers, do it my way. It's a frigging nightmare.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in any government, in any country or any world leader. Or I can't imagine. They must have sat with their head in their hands like 24/7.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with all the lockdowns. I wish Boris had taken a broader spectrum of advice from other equally and more qualified epidemiologists. Chris Whitty isn't even an epidemiologist, and the whole Barrington Declaration, scientists getting discredited and silenced. It made me just furious. Because he was taking a very narrow, he just said, put his blinkers on, these are the people I'm listening to and I'm not listening to anybody else. And I just don't think it was right. And the whole, I want masks to be voluntary as soon as possible. We are not a culture that covers our faces. And also, if you are going to catch COVID, it is submicrobial. So you see people going around with neckerchiefs around their faces or these little thin blue masks. If they're right about COVID and how infectious it is, those masks aren't going to do anything anyway. So I don't agree with that. So,
Okay.
I think, I did wear masks. I live in Henley-on-Thames. It's quite a small town, and some of the older premises are quite small and narrow.
Yeah.
So when last year I did wear a mask in before it was mandatory, but it was advised. I wore them in. There's a tiny chemist I go into, or a small newsagent.
Well, they're just going to want your autograph if you haven't got it on anyway.
Well, that's why I wear a clear mask, so people can still recognise me and ask for an autograph if they want.
That's hilarious.
So,
but surely,
now
presumably,
I think-
you get in an enclosed space, particularly if there isn't good airflow, then masks are going to help.
Well, it's not for me to say they wouldn't,
Okay.
but I think if you're in a massive garden centre or a huge Tesco hypermarket,
but yeah.
forget it. It's just stupid, So I am, because of my asthma, I am actually exempt if I want to be. So now I'm wearing a lanyard. I'm not wearing a mask anymore. I'm just sick of it. I'm
You're
over
one
it.
of those people.
I'm
You got
one
a
of
badge.
them.
You got a badge.
Yeah, it's not, excuse my hidden disabilities. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm a twat, is what mine says.
Oh my God! I mean, I always open up all the windows when I'm on the Docksons Light Railway. Everybody shuts the windows, thinking it's good for COVID.
Yeah.
But that's just a breathing centre for germs, keeping it all nice and warm. So I'm always opening windows to try to get a good airflow through.
No,
the
I get
airflow, it's all
all
about
that. I
airflow.
get all that. And even before all this happened, I used to think, oh, that supermarket trolley, how many grubby hands have been on that?
Oh, yeah.
And did they wash their hands after they had a dump?
Yeah.
The last person that, No, that was
Carol
all
Decker
going
is
through
in the building.
that all went through my head many times, years before COVID, and strap hanging on the tube. And also, some gigs that we play, they can be quite kind of grungy, rocky clubs.
Yes,
So
yes,
I've always got some gel in my bag anyway.
Yes.
I've always kept my hands clean. And there's nothing, fresh air, good hygiene.
Yeah.
That all makes sense. But the rest of it, I felt that it could have been more nuanced, and Boris could have kept it on the move a bit more.
I mean, look,
is my personal,
there's certainly arguments there. I mean, I, for my personal opinion, although the interviewer is not supposed to have opinions, I think they should have started with the whole lockdown thing much earlier on, and policed the airports much better. Had people going to hotels or the rest of it. I think it started a bit late. That was the issue. Mm.
But I think I remember watching it on the news and hearing the first rumours, wasn't it, almost?
Yeah. Mm.
And I actually thought Boris did the right thing to start with, because I thought that was very British of like, we're not panicking, we don't panic, we're Brits. But looking back, maybe I don't think he could have explained it to us, because we're not used to that.
No.
We've never been through it before.
So
I think in a way to get us to buy into locking down, he had to let us see why we had to do it. If he'd have just said in January, by the way, that thing that's happening in Wuhan in China, well, it's coming over here, so we're locking down now. Nobody would have done. People would have gone, sod off. What are you talking about? That's over there. That's not coming over here. I don't think people would have believed it.
I think he needed better advisors to explain it to him earlier on. I mean, I don't know who he had around him, but I mean, I saw him being interviewed on This Morning and talking to Philip Schofield and saying, "Oh, should we just like have a herd mentality and just see how it goes?" So, I remember thinking at the time, and this was like way early, but it seemed the wrong approach then, because we're so interconnected as a island, aren't we? It's so with Australia and New Zealand, it's easier to isolate certain areas because there's massive amounts of land that separates people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there we go.
Who knows? No, nobody, I certainly don't have all the answers. No. I just think as it progressed, I would like to have seen a more nuanced approach.
Yeah.
And a more sensible approach, and him taking more advice from other people who are going, there is another way we can do this.
I suppose one of the issues is that if you are isolating old people, that's fine, and if younger people are just getting on with it, getting COVID, but not getting too sick, but then a lot of younger people interact with older people, and I think you would have to sort of very emphasise the being careful when you're with older people in terms of
that's
absolutely.
Yeah, but whichever way you did it, it would not be easy.
No, absolutely.
It would be awful. Whichever strategy you took. But what lockdowns have done to the rest of us is it's like we've had two illnesses.
Yes.
So.
Mental and physical.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you get my Christmas card? I sent you a Christmas card with it was Santa Claus wearing a mask. I thought that with a music.
Did you post it? Or was it a new card?
I posted that to you.
Did I get that?
Oh, you probably did. Don't worry. You get loads. You're Carol Decker, for heaven's sake.
Sorry.
No. I do. That's fine. Just checking. Let's talk about your gigs. You got some gigs coming up because we are coming out of lockdown. Ever so excited. We got new stuff happening. You got new live stuff.
Yeah, well, so obviously loads and loads of my gigs got postponed from 2020.
Yep.
And they all got, the sort of 98% of them got postponed to 2021. And they've all come back online. So if folks want to go to the website, which is tapow.co.uk, all lowercase and no apostrophe, or Facebook, which is tapow/Carol Decker, you'll see all the gigs and where we are all around the country across the next year, and hopefully people will be confident and happy to come out and have some fun.
Absolutely, particularly in the fresh air. It's got to be good.
Yeah.
In the sunshine, fingers crossed.
Yeah, but I can't wait. I really, really can't wait to get back out there. As long as I can remember how to sing and hold my microphone, because you do. Bloody, if you don't use it, you lose it.
It's like riding a bike, apparently. Yeah, so, one other thing I wanted to mention, because you had a sort of a special charity gig when you were you were getting the highest bids on dresses and clothes you worn on. Tell us a little bit about that.
We auctioned our old pants. It was called Who Gives a Frock? And it was organised by Beverly Craven, the fabulous Beverly Craven, Promise Me, her big hit. And she wanted to raise money for, it's the NHS Intensive Care Society. So they kind of help and support the intensive care workers, who obviously at the best of times work very hard and have a very stressful job.
Sure.
And so she reached out to a bunch of us, her sort of comrades in the music business, and then it expanded into some actresses. And then when we did some promo on it for this morning by Zoom, Holly Willoughby jumped on board and put some of her outfits
I
in.
saw that. I saw that segment. Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, so, and we raised about 10 grand.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Fantastic.
That's brilliant.
But here's the weird thing. 2 of my outfits went to men.
Okay. Well,
so
there you go.
I don't wish to pry how they're going to use
you
them.
never know. They might be dressing their girlfriends up. It might be for them. Good luck to them. It's given me an idea for the next time you have a sale.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Listen, Cara, it's so lovely to chat to you. I tell you, we need to listen to your fabulous track in its entirety now. It's Guess Who's Sorry Now. It's available on all platforms, and we absolutely
from 30th of April.
From the 30th of April, and we absolutely love it. Carol, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, darling.
Hang in there and enjoy.
You too.
Yeah, take care. Lots of love. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. 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 Bye.
I can't stop thinking about you. I can't hold out. That phone has got a ring. I'm answering just to hear your voice again. With full control, I changed it, made that mistake and paid it overdue. I ordered you everything I put you through. What can I tell you that is dignified? If you won't let me help to dry the tears you cried, 'cause you were never on my mind until you left me far behind. I should've known somehow. Should've known somehow. I lived my life without a doubt until you turned me inside out. So guess who's sorry now? Remember we were once true. Come back and let me make it up to you. I was cruel. I had to break the golden rule. Don't leave me on the outside. Don't turn your back because you set aside your wounded pride to keep me so my hands are tied. Wish I could change the look that's in your eyes. The hurt inside them really cut me down to size. 'Cause you were never on my mind until you left me far behind. I should've known somehow. Should've known somehow. I lived my life without a doubt until you turned me inside out. So guess who's sorry now? I'm falling for you like the snow, trying to cover what's over and soften the blow. I'm tongue-tied and twisted and so sorry, I'm sorry for letting you go. What can I tell you that is dignified? If you won't let me help to dry the tears you cried, 'cause you were never on my mind until you left me far behind. I should've known somehow. I should've known somehow. I lived my life without a doubt until you turned me inside out. So guess who's sorry now? You were never on my mind until you left me far behind. I should have known somehow. I should have known somehow.
SNSOnlineShow.com, your brand new one-stop shop for all things SNS. Take a tour through our wide and diverse collection of shows and listen in to our exclusive range of in-depth interviews spanning the popular arts, featuring actors, writers, journalists, stand-up comedians, musicians, and more. You can also enjoy our shorter Bitesized series covering vibrant new theatre, television, and book releases. And with our arts lifestyle remit, you get to explore issue-based topics, including health, mental health, women's rights around the world, and LGBTQ. Contact us with both your comments and suggestions for future guests. And don't forget to read up on our blog, regularly updated with articles and photographs. A forum where everyone is welcome to contribute. SNSOnlineShow.com, your one-stop shop for all things SNS.